on the presidential disaster declaration for Kentucky due to the ice storms and flooding.
Yeah, I believe just today, the president did declare the declaration for the ice storms that we had earlier this year. I believe the assessment is still underway on the flooding. In fact, I was in Eastern Kentucky Monday meeting with county judges in the key counties that really got hammered, Lee County, for example. And that assessment is underway, and all of the delegation will support it. And as soon as the assessment is completed by FEMA, I expect the governor to make his decision, and that will be backed up by the president.
Okay, and I lied, one more thing. You guys, I don't know if this is an Owensboro health question or for you, what about more vaccine locations popping up? I know that we have been aggressive, but can we see more Walgreens? Can we see CVS, more Kroger vaccine locations in the next couple weeks or months to come?
I believe so. So we have several vaccine sites here. We do it here at the hospital. We do it at the health park. We also we have a vaccine site down in Muhlenberg County and Grayson County. So we really opened up the hospital portion of the vaccine clinics. We do know that for the health district, we've been working with Clay Morgan very closely, and they also have rolled out a number of vaccine sites in the community. And then lastly, yes, I do think that you'll probably see more and more walk-in Walgreens or Walmart and get your vaccine. So yes, I think it's probably coming.
Hey, doctor, are you concerned about a surge in cases here since like we've seen nationally?
So we have a slight increase here. And if you look on the national map, Kentucky's not in that group of states that have 10 to 13% surge recently. So far what we're doing, we are really recommending that you do the things we've been recommending for the last year. You wear your mask, you social distance, with hand hygiene has really helped to keep all that down, and we're going to continue to push for that. We've had a slight increase here, but nowhere near what you're seeing nationally, and I think it's because we're really trying to follow the CDC and the governor's mandates about all the proper things that we should be doing.
And Senator McConnell, do you have an alternative to Biden's infrastructure plan? Do you have an alternative to Biden's infrastructure plan?
Yeah, just last year, when my party was still in the majority in the Senate, we had a bipartisan infrastructure package. It didn't involve massive amounts of debt and wouldn't seek to tackle every single infrastructure problem in the country. But you either alarmed about the level of national debt and the future impact of that on our children and our grandchildren, or you aren't. So my view about infrastructure is we ought to build that which we can afford and not either whack the economy with major tax increases or run up the national debt even more. This whole debate underscores, I think, the principal difference between the two parties. This new administration, and it's very, very narrow majority in the House, and it's 50-50 Senate, nevertheless, is bold and audacious. It involves principally two things: higher taxes and more debt.
And what do you think of the new administration? How do you think he's doing? I know President Biden had a lot of ambitious goals coming in, especially for his first 100 days.
Well, I like him personally. I mean, we've been friends for a long time. He's a first-rate person. Nevertheless, this is a bold left-wing administration. I don't think they have a mandate to do what they're doing. Admittedly, the president was not reelected, the previous president, but if you look at the results in Congress, a 50-50 Senate, and maybe a 3-vote majority in the House, I don't think the American people gave them a mandate to drive our country all the way to the political left. But they're not deterred by that, and they're going to try to do it anyway. And I'm going to fight it every step of the way because I think this is the wrong prescription for America. Anyone?
The legislative session just ended in Frankfurt. What big changes can Kentuckians expect?
About what happened in Frankfurt?
Yes.
Oh, well, I'm an observer like you, and, you know, clearly, what was going on was a power struggle between a Republican legislature and a Democratic governor. That's not uncommon. It happens as a result of elections, and I think looking at it from the outside, like all of you, the legislature, I think, is trying to claw back some of the executive power, which is not surprising. Not surprising the governor vetoed most of that, and I guess we'll ultimately see what the Kentucky courts will allow in terms of the balance of power struggle between the governor and the legislature. Other than that, I'm not an expert on the details of what they were doing.
We have time for one more.
Do you have an agenda for the year? You know, things that you're working on? You know, I'm sorry, sir. I was asking, do you have an agenda, things that you're working on? We've talked about the president, his infrastructure plan, but what are you working on?
Well, the problem is I don't get to set the agenda anymore.
Well, now, you can sponsor bills like everyone else.
Yeah, well, you know, but for one more seat in Georgia, I would be setting the agenda instead of Schumer. And so I'm now the defensive coordinator. I've been both. The offensive coordinator is a better job. You have a better chance to put points on the board. I said during last year's election, if I was still the majority leader and Joe Biden won, I'd make sure he was a moderator. So I'm not in a position to do that. So we're in a reactive mode. I'd love to find some things we can agree on. But look, as long as their agenda is, let's take a look at this transportation bill that the president laid out yesterday. Just to give you an example. There's more money in that plan that the president laid out in Pittsburgh for electric cars than for roads and bridges. Let me say that again. More money for electric cars than roads and bridges. We have some big philosophical differences